Hold on. Oh God. Welcome to the High Ground Podcast. Nurse Ollie, and with me is my co-host
Cisco.
And let's just jump right into it. If you're hearing this, the Super Bowl already happened, and people lost. But in news that we actually care about, the Deadpool trailer dropped, and Cisco hasn't seen it. Have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen this trailer. I want to talk about it, though. I do want to talk about it. Because it's been 6 years since the last Deadpool movie. And fun fact, this was foreshadowed in Deadpool 2.
What?
The premise of this movie.
Time travel?
Deadpool meeting Wolverine.
Oh, yeah. The part where he's like, I'm going to need a favor in the future.
Yeah, this was foreshadowed. I didn't even know that until yesterday. You got the entire Deadpool cast.
X-Force.
Not Terry
Colossus.
Crews, though.
Peter.
Him with the hair is so funny.
That is very funny. And it's not, it's such weird hair, too.
Not the TVA. It makes sense that the TVA would be after him.
have made these people, like, good?
Oh, no, I don't watch Loki.
Okay. It's going to be very confusing for you, then.
TVA's after him because he breaks the fourth wall. like, come on. It's a pretty easy setup. They don't like him, he breaks the fourth wall.
I mean,
I'm surprised they haven't come after She-Hulk.
There's more nuance to that, but...
He's a character from a completely different continuity that's suddenly in the Marvel one. They got to clean it up. It's Deadpool, so you know they're going to get that meta. You see? They're even playing clips. How would they have these clips? How would they have these? Don't get me wrong. I'm excited. I'm here for it. I love Deadpool
Patches.
movies.
He's aware. He's self-aware. Shouldn't even know what that is. Well, you would.
He wouldn't know what that is.
No one else knows what that means.
Except She-Hulk and Kevin.
Yeah. I hope that was Bob. I know it's not going to be Hydra Bob, but TVA Bob.
Nigga, Pyro?
Yeah, Pyro. If we're doing this in style. Let's get nuts.
Like the plot of this movie is definitely going to center around a big old meta commentary about the Fox universe.
Yeah, it's gonna be shitting on the Fox. It's the worst.
Like that's the entire. Like that's what a lot of this is. Hey, they ate down with finally giving us a good Wolverine suit, though.
I hope he wears a mask. That's all I ask.
Because finally giving us the yellow and blue. I'm excited for that one.
So, thoughts?
All the Deadpool side characters are there. Dopinder's there. Vanessa's there.
Rob Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld's there. Vanessa.
Ironically.
You know the squad is here. You know what it is.
Blind Owl.
Even Peter.
An owl.
That's crazy. They got everybody. Look at how happy niggas are. It's crazy.
You know who's not there? Firefist.
Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, the TVA is here. I mean, I've seen Loki season 1, so I know what they are. So it's not that crazy. I'm excited for that. I'm still. You know what it is though. We still boycotting. We're not gonna watch it in theaters. We still boycotting. But
why are we boycotting?
We boycotting Disney.
Why?
There's a Disney because they're supporting a genocide.
You said that like I knew what was going on.
The genocide? The genocide?
That's a fucking genocide. I didn't know they were supporting the Israel-Palestine genocide.
Yeah, Disney, Amazon. There's a whole list of companies that support that shit. No. We don't watch Marvel movies. We don't watch Marvel.
I'm gonna watch this movie. It's still fuck Israel, but like I'm still gonna watch this movie.
But yeah, there's this right here. We pirate movies anyway, so it's whatever for me.
Yeah, I think this movie is my most anticipated movie of the year.
For me, I don't think I have many anticipated films this year.
There's Kong X Godzilla, but then
I mean that's gonna be cool, but like
watch that on HBO Max too.
That's gonna be on HBO Max?
No, but you know how this works. It's like in a couple of weeks, like it's gonna be like the Disney Plus thing. Like I'm not gonna shell out money to go watch that in theaters.
And that's the mentality that's kind of that was killing theaters before. Well, what's going on now?
Like the movie has to be like spectacular for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it. And for me, Deadpool. I love Deadpool, and it's Hugh Jackman again. And you know, although
don't get me wrong, I want this movie to be good, but at the same time, Disney.
I mean, Disney owns everything, so it's gonna be a personal problem. Also, don't use Amazon or Microsoft or Apple. Really, just don't use anything if you're gonna take that stance. Might as well just sell your phone.
I mean, at the end of the day, that whole thing comes down to, of course, no one's telling you to stop using things that you need to function, but not giving money to a movie.
I mean, technically, you could just go sell your phone and get a basic phone.
Made by what company? Most of these phones are made. Most of these companies, you know, have a holdover in major functions in life. No one's telling someone to stop going to work because they work for McDonald's.
You don't have to, but you can get a simple like if drug dealers can survive on burner phones, you could go in the store and buy like a simple. They do exist. It's just won't be in the loop. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're gonna take the stand, you know, just
go to the extreme.
Yeah, no, be about it or don't be about it.
I mean, it's not about being about it. Being about it is doing what you can do. Going and buying a phone that I don't pay for. I don't pay for this phone.
Well, I mean, you're still supporting Apple.
I'm not supporting anything. I'm not paying for this phone.
It's still owning their product.
I didn't buy this product. I didn't pay for this product.
You own the product.
Okay, by proxy. That doesn't mean I support the thing.
I don't support the people that, you know, fund the war, but I'm still going to own their product. That's free advertisement for them.
What are you trying to do here?
I'm just saying, if you're about to be that life.
I'm about the life that says don't buy things from this and this company, so I'm not going to buy things from that company.
You know what I mean? You already own it, so I'm just saying.
Before the boycott.
I'm just saying. You know, Peter take that shit for real though. Peter bought that life. They said, oh, fuck animal products. They're going to say fuck animal products. You want to be an activist? I'm just saying. It's not
about being an activist. These niggas said, hey, don't buy from here, so I'm not going to buy from here.
If you want to stand on, you know, if you want to stand on principle, stand on principle. I'm just saying.
Look, what are you saying? No, because you're saying a lot of other things, and I'm being like, okay, we don't watch movies from Disney. We don't buy Amazon products. Blah blah blah. We don't go to McDonald's.
Well, then don't do those things.
I don't do those things.
Well,
we're good. So what are we talking about?
If you still repping an Apple phone, that's still supporting.
Nigga, just because I own an Apple phone that I don't pay for doesn't mean that I support Apple products.
Just because you didn't pay for it doesn't mean you're still not repping the gang.
So you want me to go and buy a phone that's not Apple based?
Yeah, you could.
But you that's what you're telling me to do.
You could get an HP laptop. You could get a basic smartphone or a smartphone that's you don't even have to get a smartphone. I'm just saying, if you're not gonna rep those companies, why have their products?
I cover the Apple logo on my phone because I own this phone.
People don't know what a fucking
listen. Okay, nigga. Let's not live this life, all right? Let's not live this life. Just because you want to feel good about going to watch Marvel movies. Just because you want to feel okay about doing whatever.
You have an Apple device. I'm just saying.
Okay, but that doesn't mean I support what they do. What the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like, what are we talking about?
Still repping the people you don't like.
Like, what are we talking about here?
That's like saying I don't don't like the KKK, but I still show up the rally cookouts.
That's not the same thing.
That's
no, it's not the same thing whatsoever. That is not the same thing.
You still repping
at all. I'm not. You could
put duct tape on your phone.
So you want me to go out there, change my phone?
You could. I'm just saying. You could.
You could. And some people choose to do that, and others don't. And I'm not going to look at somebody sideways just because they chose not to.
There's people that cut their Disney Plus subscriptions.
I don't pay for that, so I don't need to.
But you still have it.
I still pirate most of my things. It doesn't even matter. It does not matter.
And you still have.
But I don't pay for it. I'm not giving them money.
Just because you don't pay for it doesn't mean you're still not supporting it.
Just because I don't use it doesn't. I don't have it.
Yeah, you still own the product.
I don't own the product. I don't pay for it.
You still own an iPhone.
If I don't pay for the thing, I
have a PlayStation. Doesn't mean I'm paying a subscription.
You paid for the PlayStation though.
I already paid for that.
No, but you did. You paid for it.
Yes.
Yes.
But I still own it.
Yeah, you own it.
Like if I was fuck Sony, I'd still
If it's fuck Sony and you already have a PlayStation, you can still play your PlayStation games.
If it was fuck Sony, I'd be about it. Get rid of the Sony products. But that's
you already own it because it was expensive. I'm not going to tell you to get rid of it just because it's expensive.
I can make my money back.
But it's your prerogative. I'm not going to look at you. I'm not going to look at you. As long as we can all acknowledge that it's fuck this, and this, then it's like, what are we doing here? What is this conversation about?
You still technically morally grandstanding over the fact that you still have.
I'm not morally grandstanding. I'm saying we're not watching Disney movies.
Hey, you're still watching in some way, shape, or how.
Yeah, pirated illegally, not giving any money to the people.
Just because that's still sales for Disney.
In what way is that a sale for Disney? By pirating it?
Because even if you didn't put money in their pocket, that's free advertisement. Let's say you
advertising for what?
Oh Christ!
If I'm watching it illegally,
oh my God, relax. If you're watching if you're watching Deadpool or whatever Disney movie, produced movie, right? You're gonna watch it. Probably gonna talk about it. Your friends are gonna talk about it, and you just admitted to saying you're going to go out and watch it. That's one more.
I said I'm going to watch it illegally.
Again, that's still watching the movie. That's still advertising for Disney.
But it's not putting money directly into the pockets that let's say a movie ticket or streaming it on Disney Plus.
No, that's still inadvertently helping that movie.
I mean, what if I just don't talk about it? What if I don't like it and I don't say anything?
You already did.
Yeah, because you told me to do the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different. If I don't go out and watch this movie now, then what's the difference?
You still put the money in the pocket.
Yeah, because you told me to.
I didn't tell you whether
you told me to come on here and do this podcast.
Hold on. First of all, let's relax now. Like I put a gun in your head. And second of all, I didn't ask you, you better watch this Deadpool movie. I said, watch it. You know, watch it.
And I said probably, but illegally, so I don't give money to the corporation.
Okay, that's you still supporting the Deadpool movie
by not giving the corporation money directly.
By still watching the movie
illegally.
That's still
on a legal website.
Yes, that's still supporting the movie.
And
there's no such thing as bad publicity. Do you not understand that? That's still okay. By you going on the websites, that's still giving traffic to the websites. Someone's going to go out their way and find the illegal websites. Now they're going to watch it. Now there's going to be hype around the movie. Sure, you didn't put butts in seats, but people are still going to go watch it. And now people are going to be like, damn, I really enjoyed that pirated version. Let me go watch the actual version. Again, there are ramifications to everything. If you want to play but actually what aboutism, you're doing it, but you still supported the movie. Now, if you wanted to say, fuck Disney altogether, you wouldn't talk about them. You wouldn't have their products. You'd really be like, I wash my hands of all of this. But it's unrealistic to be like, I wash my hands of all of it because these are things that we consume all the time. So this is why, therefore, this is why I do not do the whole grandstanding, it's fuck whatever. Because I didn't bring up the fuck Disney, fuck Israel. That's you that brought that up. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So therefore, that is grandstanding. That is the definition of grandstanding. Now, I'm not telling you it's right or wrong. I'm telling you it is what it is. If you're going to be about it, be about it. Anywho,
let me finish what I was going to say. Let me just say what I was going to say. Let me just say what I was going to say.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Anywho, before I let you finish, that is Deadpool. I think it's going to be interesting. It is probably my most anticipated movie of the year. If you feel like you have a rebuttal, I guess deaf ears, but it is what it is. What do you want to say?
It's not a rebuttal. It was just me saying this. It's one thing. It's one thing to say what you said, but at the same time, because these companies and these corporations have such a hold over these things, being aware of the wrong things they do, and being able to, like, let's say if I don't pay for this phone, if I don't pay for this movie, or let's say if I don't go and watch it now that we've had this conversation, it's like there's only so much someone can do realistically without cutting themselves off illegally, like entirely, without like cutting off their access to major things. Like, let's just say if I went out and bought a basic Obama phone that wasn't a smartphone, and I still had to go and do all this other shit.
What's your point?
That it's okay for people to be like, oh, I just want to go see this movie. I won't go and talk about these other movies. I won't go and talk about these other movies without getting on their ass about it.
This is not a statement. This is a rebuttal. Anyway, no, I'm just saying. You said it was a statement, not a rebuttal. This is a rebuttal. You are still supporting the cause that you are against. Anyway, again, if you want to stick to the man, you stick to the man. There are people that are actually against this shit and don't support the thing and don't do anything about it. And then there are people that just talk for the sake of talking. That's talking for the sake of talking. I didn't call you a monster. Didn't call you a bad person. I'm just saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you call me a bad person.
You don't have to defend yourself.
No, but you're saying that I'm doing this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, but even then, not everyone's going to be able to do everything that you're saying. That's not fair to those people.
You're acting like I'm saying change the world. I'm saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying not everyone's going to be able to do that. You can be aware of what's going on and then do the things that you're able to do without saying that someone's morally grandstanding. Nigga, they're just doing.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm taking myself out of the argument, so it's not personal.
This is personal because we're talking about you.
No, but even then, I'm taking myself out of it, so it's not personal.
At this point, you're still doing a rebuttal. You're just saying, but you're tying your hands out of. It's a whataboutism because it's like, well, what about these other people? Because you can't expect them to do. Listen, most people are not talking about, oh, fuck Disney, yada yada yada, and those are just saying it for likes and clicks. Because at the end of the day, those are the same people that are going to be supporting all these companies, using their products. Like, it's just really grandstand and wag their fingers and be like, well, Father knows best. Because again, if you're really about that life, you'd stick to the man, not support anything they do, get rid of their products, get rid of all their shit, and you could live on it. You could live on the anti-Disney, Amazon, all this other stuff. You just choose not to. Because remember, everything that we have is not a necessity. It's a convenience. Just say, that's the reality of that situation. It is a convenience. Anywho, we've been talking about Deadpool for a long time. So let's move on to the other side of the X-Men. That was funny. I saw. So you know what's going on with the X-Men? It's not paused. No.
Oh, my bad. I thought you paused it.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I know what's going on. You told me.
So for anyone who doesn't know, let's just first of all let's look at this X-Men 97 trailer, shall we?
Saturday morning, check your local listings. I'm grateful to have the chance to say goodbye. I am proud of you all, my X-Men.
Fate lies in our hands now.
You know, there's a lot of controversy about the animation itself, and I've had to make people understand that the original X-Men cartoon was hand-drawn cell animation. This is Flash. It's not going to look the same because it's not done in the same style. Like, industry-wise, there are not a lot of people. Actually, it's dead. So, like, most new animators don't know how to do cell-drawn animation. So for you to expect them to do that, I still think that's Madeline Pryor, though. I don't think that's Jean. Madeline Pryor's a clone. That's icy, though. I'm not gonna lie. I love that line. To me, my X-Men. All right, let's talk about this. So, oh, that's gonna be wild. She looks so fue. Yeah, that's wild. We knew that, though. We knew that was gonna be a thing. So let's talk about what's going on.
Okay, so I never watched this show. I was sperm at the time. So I was not tapped into this. But I am an X-Men fan. I've seen the movies and some of the other animated shows. So I know what the X-Men are. So it's like, so Charles is dead. About the animation, I think discourse around the animation is kind of dumb because it looks good anyway. So like,
yeah,
why are we complaining?
It's just some people think it looks odd because they're so used. I think, and again, the art style. Again, I want people to understand that there's. You probably know this already, so don't respond. But there is a difference between art style and animation. The art style is fine. The animation is a little rigid for my taste. Like it's not even Flash. It's like I don't even know how to describe. It looks like something you would see on the internet. Like it's really like the art style is saving it, but the animation wise is like it's no fizzy pop. Those people, their animation style is good. Those people that are doing Has Been Hotel, but this, I don't know. But it's not to say like the '97 show was like peak animation anyway. It's like we cared more about the stories and the art style. I don't know. I hope people don't confuse the two. That's one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to animation. It looks vibrant, looks clean. You know, I mean, cell drawn animation is always going to be better in my opinion because there's a roughness and there's a life to the way that looks that you can't replicate with this new animation done on the computer. Like they look stiff. They look like something you'd see on MTV. Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Okay. Not to say that show's gonna be bad or anything. It's just I don't know. I'm glad they did this. You know what it almost looks like too? And I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. It almost looks like it's 3D with a 2D shade. Like a 2D shade on top of it. And I hope I'm wrong, because if that's what this is, boy, oof, F. They should have just drawn it. Anyway, your thoughts on the show, and then we'll move on to the controversy.
I mean, personally, I like X-Men stuff. If anything, I'm probably not gonna watch this either. Mostly because of what I said earlier, but also because I'm just not really. I didn't watch the original show, so this doesn't really appeal to me in any way. The art style is nice. I agree with what you said there. I don't know. I'm an X-Men guy, but I'm not this X-Men guy. You know.
So that being said, and now that you're aware of, we're gonna talk about the alt-right and their revisionist history of the X-Men, because they assume. My biggest problem with them is that the controversy is that they're like, the X-Men is ruined now because they're gays, and I'm like, listen. Yes, you can argue that Stan Lee never. Okay, let's watch that video first before anything, so you can understand the context. We have Mr. Coons man himself, Eric July.
Is still happening, so I figured I'd do another video on it. Now, go watch my video titled X-Men and the Social Justice Myth. You should still go watch that. There's been some
you need that for context as well. So let's watch that real quick. So essentially, bare bones, blah blah blah, is he saying Stan Lee never intended them to be commentary to that shit. The X-Men, it's a fallacy to say that X-Men is Professor X and Magneto and blah blah blah. He's gonna say that mostly. That's like the crux of the conversation. Same guy that said Miles Morales is not Spider-Man, by the way.
Advocates of social justice when it comes to comics are very dishonest people. They are leeches that exist to only hijack subcultures and fandom, and honestly, they do a great job of this. But when it comes to the old social justice has always been a part of comics thing, the go-to cliche that they use.
But they have Captain America punched Hitler.
Referencing the X-Men as an example of this, there are usually two claims that are all
Superman was created by Jews.
this idea. One, they say that the X-Men was flat out created to be social justice, and two, the Magneto and Professor X, that whole conflict, they were created to represent.
I think the only one who
I don't understand. What I don't understand about niggas like this is that these things are common knowledge. Right? Secondly, he has an awe beard, first of all.
Well, to be fair, this is like 6 years ago.
Still. He should have known 6 years ago. But anyway, my bad. Yeah, these are like common knowledge things about these characters. And like I think because it's just kind of like trying to cover up the fact that because what he means is that X-Men like and modern like social justice topics that he personally does not agree with. That's what it's really about.
Because the X-Men have always been political, but like, okay, you can make an argument when they were first introduced, they were like a Doom Patrol pastiche. Like that is the bare bones of that shit. Like that is about it. They were this very simple, like, if you want to play that game though, then you should only have those original X-Men. That's no Wolverine, no Cyclops, no Storm. You should be ripping Bobby, Angel, Beast, and that's pre-Blue Beast, by the way. That's when he had the Bubble the Clown feet.
All right, listen, I've said this before, and I think this whole like the current state of how we analyze comic book media is very limiting to what these shows can do. Like remember a couple years back when there was this whole push for like everyone was getting mad over comic accuracy, where it's like yeah, it's one thing to be like, okay, this is how that character should act in terms of their personality, but niggas were getting mad that they weren't adapting comic books plot beat by plot beat.
There's no reason why it couldn't work because anime does it.
They should be allowed. They should. But that's the thing. They should be allowed to do that. But they should also be allowed to write original stories.
And just do that.
But that's the thing. Niggas were getting mad. That these new stories like weren't like the comics, or they change one or two things about a character. It's like let a separate version be a separate version.
But then that's not the character. Because let's say, all right, for example, if you are a fan of a certain character, I'll say mine, like Wally, right? We know CW Wally is not even, there's no semblance of that character. Like comic Wally is more in line with TV show Barry. And that's like 35%.
I understand that frustration, but at the same time, it's like the entire fandom, including you, acknowledges that that's not the same version of the character. That's a different version of the character written in a different context. But you still have that Wally. That Wally is the current Flash and is being written in current stories.
It's not the point, because now the reason why people are so defensive against their characters, storylines that they like, is because the mainstream versions often bleed into the comic books a lot of the time. Like there are a lot of things from the movies that have inadvertently changed the way we see modern interpretations.
And those things inevitably change back. Miss Marvel's a mutant right now, and she'll inevitably go back to being an Inhuman.
Nah, because the reason why I don't think that won't ever happen, and you can bet $5 that, is because Marvel has never liked Inhumans. The entire point of the Inhumans was not when they were first created, obviously, but like the reason why they're even relevant now is because Fox.
Like remember in 2012 where they redesigned Peter Parker's face to look like Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, but they do that
Every time, like I said, they're changing little things or changing big aspects of a character's identity. That happens with these characters that are decades old. They switch things up to stay fresh and to stay whatever, and it's fine to have to like it or dislike it. But that's like the point of having these long running characters. Things are going to change.
It's not the change that like okay. It's one thing to be like, oh, we get a new sidekick or something. It's when the mainstream concepts become the overall unifying concepts for the. For example, like the way Spider-Man PS4 is. Let's say Marvel's decided, hey, we're gonna make whatever that canon is 616 or the ultimate. Like, you know what? That's what people are mostly concerned about. You may like it. There are some people that don't like it. That's the point. And I would be amiss to say if they had made comic book Wally anything like CW Wally, that would be hot garbage doo doo, and people would not like that. So that's kind of where. People are
comic book, but CW Wally is already in the comics. He's already like Black Wallace is already kind of like
they are not. They are not similar at all.
No,
they are not. The only thing similar about them is the fact that they're black. They're not the same at all. Like those are three different interpretations.
Like Wallace is not saucy like Wally.
No, they're not. No, not at all. Like they're not the same adaptation wise. Yeah, just thought I'd put a.
But again, that goes back to what I was saying. They're different versions of different characters, and yes, you're right. The aspects of it can bleed over, but at the same time, it's like. Those things kind of always revert back. There's always gonna be Batman's poor right now. He's gonna be rich again.
Batman's not poor.
Wasn't he poor for the?
It was a while ago, man.
And then he went back to being rich.
Mm-hmm. Like he's not super uber rich. He lives in Brown. No, that's Tony Stark. But no, yeah, he's got his money back.
Yeah, but even then, these things stick based on their popularity.
The fact that, and even then, that's not a
universal rule.
No, that's not an adaptation thing. That's a comic book thing.
But like I was saying, these changes happen in these characters.
But that's changes that happen in the canon. Like whatever happens in the canon is one thing. But it's like, imagine if they made Batman like the Dark Knight Batman or the Clooney Batman, and that just becomes the status quo from now on. You can just be like, like no.
But even then, the Clooney Batman and the Dark Knight Batman are adapted from that Batman. From the comic Batman?
They are not.
Where are they adapted from?
Those are original. Like, to the point where everybody that knows Batman says Christopher Nolan pretty much hated Batman. No, don't get me wrong. Those are still interesting movies. But, like, they are, like, Batman fans know, like, that's not Batman accurate at all. Like, if comic book Batman saw the shit that Dark Knight Batman did or Ben Affleck Batman did, they'd be like, oh, bro, we don't do. If he saw Arkham Batman, he did meet Arkham Batman. That's the funny thing. And then Arkham Batman was like, you don't want to be like me. I've been through a lot of shit.
But again, okay, imagine if they did take aspects of Arkham Batman, of Dark Knight Batman, and then some of that bled over to the comic Batman for like a year, and then it just went back to normal.
People would be like, "Why the fuck did you do this in the first place?"
And it's like that just kind of happens with tie-ins to movies.
It's the point, Cisco. People don't want that. Like the only, I think, one of the only times that's ever been socially acceptable is twice. That's with Cap and Iron Man. Cap's personality is completely more like his MCU counterpart nowadays, and Tony's personality is completely different now. He's more snarky and whimsical and whatever. So those are the only times that the movie stuff has bled over. But otherwise, people don't like that. People want that. But going back to the original conversation, it is X-Men. And X-Men have always been political, but here's the opposition and what they think about that.
Other than like some headline of an article. First and foremost, no, Stan Lee did not create Magneto and Professor X with the sole intent of having them be analogies for MLK and Malcolm X. They weren't even specifically created to represent the civil rights era. If you read the X-Men when it first came out, it's not even remotely analogous to the civil rights era. So it makes sense as to why Stan Lee said in an interview that the metaphor was given to him more so as a gift. It like fell in his lap. He didn't specifically create it, and he didn't create the comic to represent the civil rights era. It was more of a case that there happened to be a metaphor at the time that could really make the narrative more relatable. He even admits that any sort of portrayal in terms of Magneto being Malcolm and Professor X being like MLK was something that was done unconsciously. He literally says that himself. He didn't try to do it. This makes sense, again, because Magneto in his first appearances was just a regular cutthroat sort of villain. Professor X and the X-Men sort of stood in his way. He was
most of the things that we associate with the X-Men come from the Claremont era, not the Stan Lee era, which makes sense. That's like saying all the cool shit. The problem I have with Ripper and most of these people that, don't get me wrong, I love Stan Lee. Most of the things that you know about these characters came way after Stan Lee wrote them. So, but the first thing people are going to be like is people that don't read comics are going to be like, I think they legitimately think Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, mostly Stan Lee, just wrote everything. It was just like, oh my God, I don't know, like, this is what happens when people that don't know shit think they know shit. And my thing is, this guy has read comic books. So what he does is disingenuous. So it's not like I'm going to sit here and look at Ripper and be like, you don't know what you're talking, like him, Nerdrotic, a lot of these other people. You've read comic books. You know this. You know they're different eras. But you're going to still sit here, backpedal and grandstand and be like, well, and I can prove this because let's go back to his modern video where he's like talking about the X-Men, right?
Topic as well that you probably want to take a look at. But X-Men, people are talking about it right now because the X-Men 97 thing happened and began to deal with these conflicting reports about Morph. You had, of course, these
Slow
going around perpetuating the myth again that is a complete lie that the X-Men were created to be similar to the civil rights era or black injustice, gay injustice, or something of that nature, or of course that long-standing lie, which is a relatively recent phenomenon. I say long-standing, but
You were capping. This nigga still has an all beard. This nigga still has an all beard.
That is somewhat cleaner than the other one.
Just not true, objectively. Now what we're going to do is watch, actually we're going to listen in to a radio show that happened back in 2000.
This is context, by the way.
George Nuri.
You know what? Fuck it. It's going to take forever.
This nigga loves to yap. I don't know what I like. Cause the problem is I don't understand what this nigga is trying to prove with all this.
Mm-hmm.
Like what specifically is the goal of what we're trying to get, of the point he's trying to make?
His argument is that that's not what Stan originally invented. Therefore, your argument is wrong. Therefore, it's not about civil rights or the gays. It's just whimsical people with super. If you think that the X-Men are just about superpowers or Wolverine or just fancy costumes, then you have lost the plot of almost 40 years of fucking writing. And you, like, the problem is this is all disingenuous. Even if they're not, like, they're clearly allegories. And he does not understand the term allegories, because you can say it's like to one thing to another thing. Yes, Stan Lee might have not originally intended that, but it's too late because it's already analogous to the civil rights movement or the LG. You know how many black and gay people, minorities and gay people, like, get down with the X-Men? Like, a lot. The first gay wedding of the Marvel universe was between mutants. Brother, I don't know what to tell you where you're sitting here grandstanding talking about, oh, like they're just, this is something that's just new. Like, oh, like Mystique and Destiny have been gay since the jump. Like, they back then they couldn't call them gay, but like everybody knew Mystique and Destiny were the thing. Like, come on, man. So it's just like for you to be like, it's just like stupid.
And just like trying to isolate an entire like fan base of people, like two fan bases of people. And it's just like for no reason other than just he just doesn't like them.
And for a character that is so like not worth it, Morph. Seriously, y'all are really going. Like, I can understand if y'all were upset about Cyclops, like saying, "Oh, Cyclops is gay now," and it's like, oh, that don't make sense because that nigga's been simping for one. He's cheated on his wife several times. Like, let's not say Scott Summers is not a good man, but like, yeah, like I don't know. It's like or the Iceman thing. The Iceman thing still caught me off guard. Again, this is something that they just, but at this point, it's been 10 years. Like, I think, so it's like, there's no point in like saying, oh, I think like gay. Like, at that point, he's gay. It's like if I still got mad about the Tim Drake thing. Like, you see how long ago that was now? Like, at the end of the day, what is that going to accomplish? Saying, he's not bisexual. Like,
and even then, it's like, okay, right? Okay. I think I still think that entire thing was bogus because it's like saying that someone is bisexual is completely different. Like writing a character saying that they're a bisexual is completely different from saying that they're entirely gay.
And my whole thing,
two different things.
But you know what my concern about the whole Tim Drake thing was. And it was never done in honesty.
Because you thought they were trying to ship him and Connor?
No, it was what? It's like, it was the Tumblr, like, in headcanon. They let the people, so it's like if I had a headcanon about the DC Universe for so long, and I let pop culture osmosis dictate whatever, and then when I finally got in charge of it, I make the headcanon canon.
And
That's
even then, it's
much,
like, what did they do? They made one story about him crushing on a nigga, never on anyone else.
He has a boy. He's dating Bernard. And
that's still happening? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but yeah, no, like he's got a boyfriend. Like, my whole thing is, him and Stephanie were OTP. Like, he's had other girlfriends.
Didn't they break up or whatever?
For arbitrary reasons. It's more like he joined Young Justice and whatever and blah blah blah. They never really got the chance to get back together, and then boom, it was the whole he's bisexual now and whatever. Listen, I'm not saying there are people that don't go later on in life figuring out their sexuality, whatever sexuality is a spectrum. I don't care. But this is not the same. They're not the same because this is a fictional character that has been written since his publication history till that certain point a couple years ago. And there was no signs that he was gay. Yes, you're gonna say the Connor thing, not you. I'm talking about the other side of the. But again, that's headcanon. That's the same people that ship Wally and Dick together. They're best friends. It's the Sasuke and Naruto thing all again. Just because
Sasuke and Naruto are not friends.
Yeah, and they're not lovers either. So just because you in your head want them to be together doesn't mean that they are. Now, the people that wanted them to be together have become writers and have made that the canon. Whatever. It's like the running joke that Dick Grayson would be bisexual. Why? Because y'all have sexualized Dick Grayson to the point like where it's like y'all make like, yes, you draw him in a cheeky, beefy way. Like, we get it. It's eye candy. It's the same way as like people like Catwoman. Catwoman is bi, but that's going more on to the Nightwing situation. It's like, it's because y'all sexualize Nightwing. Just because you sexualize Nightwing, it's fan art, fan fiction, you know what I mean? Headcanon. It's not Nightwing straight. Now, if they made him bisexual, what am I to do? I can't. What am I to do? Oh, he's not. It's like, at the end of the day, it's just the company decided to make a lateral move, listening to the specific demographic of people that think that's what Nightwing is.
So would you feel the same way if they listen to the fan base over a straight ship?
Over what?
Over like a straight ship?
Yeah, like if they, for example, if they paired him over with someone that like he had no chemistry.
With Cheshire.
Like, that'd be so fucking weird. First of all, that's Roy's baby mama. That's already problematic. That's already, him banging Catwoman is already problematic. That's your stepmom. So it's like,
yeah, that was really creepy. That was creepy.
Jason banged Talia. Don't forget that shit. Okay, so like the kid.
Also the way that writers over the years have had Barbara shipped with every Bat family member,
But
that's
luckily-
fucking weird.
Luckily, that's been in different mediums. Like
It's been in different mediums,
but still,
it still happened.
Yeah, that is odd.
Like
they
it's one thing if in this universe if in this point in time this universe she flirted with Jason for like a issue, and over here she's dating Dick. There was no reason for the killing joke for the shit that killing joke to have happened.
You know what? It's still grits though, and I blame racism. She was gonna get with Luke Fox, and they vetoed that shit so hard.
No.
Why? He's not even Bat family. He's like a cousin.
No, he's Bat. He's Bat family.
Adjacent.
But my problem with people in the Bat family fucking each other is look at the name of the group.
Yeah, but that didn't go by that. Like that's us. That's us that call him
the
that.
writers know that.
Yeah.
No, because the writers know that, and that's what they're doing. Stop. Stop.
Listen, Babs is more like a cousin. Babs is not, or niece.
Babs is clearly the older sister of the family.
She's the niece. She's not a sibling.
She's clearly the older sister.
She's not the
She's
sister.
older than all of those niggas.
Yeah, but she's not the. Her and Dick are
Kate
cousins.
is like the aunt / cousin.
Yes.
That's the aunt / cousin.
Yeah, but that's
the distance.
But she
from
doesn't call Bruce. She doesn't think of Bruce as her dad.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what Barbara does. Because she's the older sister.
She's not the older sister. She's more like the play cousin. You know why I say this? Because him and Gordon are very good friends, right? That's why I say this. They're very good friends. So that's why it's always off pocket if Bruce did anything weird with Barbara. But like that's why no one bats an eye when it's like Dick and Babs. OTP, by the way. But like,
no, it's Dick and Star.
You know, I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect your opinion. You know, we do love baby giraffes, but I don't respect. I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it. You know, that was a dysfunctional relationship. Not to say that him and Barbara were not dysfunctional.
I was about to say, I was like,
but Starfire is the reason why that whole relationship is dysfunctional in the first place. Okay, Dick ain't shit. But besides the point, oh no, technically, their pre-52 versions did get married. So technically, checkmate. And I'm not gonna think about DC canon because once they did the whole Dark Knight Metal thing and everything's canon, does that not mean that Babs and Dick are married? If we think about
that's another reason why okay, in my personal opinion, none of this bullshit matters.
Well, Marvel is not the same.
I know Marvel has this one continuous timeline or whatever, and they can reference bullshit from 20 years ago on a whim. I don't care, because a lot of these books still try to be standalone. A lot of those books still try to be standalone. That Rogue and Gambit miniseries that led into a bunch of other shit still had an isolated plot.
Because they're still doing their own thing. Like,
that's what I'm saying. These like you can read these books in isolated ways.
Well, that's sorry to cut you off, but that's kind of the intent of like relaunches, because the point is, okay, it doesn't mean that all of their previous history is gone. It's just a new stepping stone, like let's say
an entry point.
Yeah, an entry point
in the story.
Yeah, for new readers. But all of that other stuff still happened. You can go back and
It's just like I feel like that's another point where it's like they need to advertise that more. Like that's why a lot of niggas are afraid to get into comics.
Getting into comic books is really not that difficult. It's just people make it more difficult. I'm not gonna lie to you. Manga is more easier because there's one story, one author, and then like one linear storyline. But like,
that's why I feel like the best way to get into comics is the way I got into it. Looking at a character you like, searching up their like specific stories with them, and then just reading those stories, and so that way you can just read those stories in isolation. Because like I don't care about the rest of whatever run that was. I care about Spider Island.
But here's the thing. Everyone's always going to have their era. Like, depending on when you grew up, you are Tom King era Batman. And that's no problem. I grew up with Grant Morrison. Everyone is going to have their era of Batman and how they perceive Batman should be. There's some people that like Scott Snyder's Batman, New 52. and so on and so forth. So it really depends. That's why when people say, "Oh, there's certain unifying traits that Batman should have," but like the canon has flipped and flopped in so many ways. Like it's like if Batman said, I'm alone, I'm a loner. And it's like, Bruce, you haven't been alone for 30 years.
Yeah.
Like, let's not do that. You're just neglecting your children. Like, I'm gonna find that for either way. But my problem with this douchebag is he's saying like, well, we don't really count the Chris Claremont shit. And I'm like, so you don't count the most important, pivotal, like, with no disrespect to Jim Lee X-Men, but like Claremont is what Marv Wolfman and George Perez was for the Teen Titans. Like, yeah, there were other eras of the Teen Titans, but like, motherfucker, when you look at that cartoon, that is 99% fucking the 80s George Perez Wolfman era. You know what I mean? Like, your X-Men or the 97 X-Men, it has a lot of it comes from both. Like, aesthetically, Jim Lee, but like the story wise, it's Wolfman and Perez. Not Wolfman and Perez. Claremont. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's see what the stupid thing is.
They had a worry about their reception by the outside world. Little by little, I began getting mail saying how great.
Feel free to interject if
about bigotry and the evils of bigotry and so forth and race hatred. And I guess I was doing that, but I was doing it subconsciously. That wasn't the main purpose.
So that goes, of course, in line. There's some other things that he says that we're going to listen into of a bunch of different interviews and public statements that he's made regarding the X-Men. He created them really out of laziness, if you want to call it that. He said that he just wanted to create these cool groups of characters. He didn't want to have to sort of come up with these like origin stories. What if he just said that they were born that way? And that's how you got the mutants. That's how you got X-Men. And the best literature, of course, is going to have people say, hey, this may be similar to that. Okay? And it's oftentimes in your own mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. You find these similarities. So what Stan Lee is saying is that, yeah, okay, maybe the similarity might be there, but I didn't try to do that. He didn't do it on purpose. That was not his goal. Now listen in on this as well.
And when the X-Men enjoyed its reincarnation on film, there was a lot of talk about how this was really the story of homophobia.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And that was not wasn't part of the original blueprint.
No, it was the furthest thing from my mind.
Right.
So there you have it right there. He quite literally says that was the furthest thing from his mind. He wasn't thinking about that. That had nothing to do with the creation of the X-Men. Now, I would encourage people to just go read X-Men books. You would be saying some very damning things about Brother Malcolm X if you were to say that they were somehow similar, or more so with Magneto, was similar to Malcolm X, because Magneto for a very long time was just a cutthroat, evil villain who wanted to rule over humans. That wasn't what Brother Malcolm X ever was.
in the 60s.
Isn't even Stan Lee's era.
All right, pause it.
But Claremont himself, which you can
What is Claremont?
that I've done on this topic, he himself has flat out admitted the civil rights era had nothing to do with what it is that he was trying to create. When you had the retcon of like with the Holocaust connection and everything there, that didn't happen until well over a decade, and after they had been already created. And again, that was during Claremont's era. He was more so representing begin and this whole Jewish dichotomy. That was his.
So yes, two things can be right at the same time. Just because he was focusing on the Jewish Holocaust and stuff like that, do you not think people could also attribute this shit to the civil rights? Like, anyways, this goes back to Cook. Cisco Cook.
Oh, I was just gonna say that this nigga is bad. This nigga is bad. There's not much else to say here, really. Like that, like, because the problem with all this is that nigga, what that nigga is saying at the end of the day doesn't matter, right? Like, let's be so. Let's be so real. All this right wing grifter shit is not going to matter at the end of the day, because people are still going to have their perceptions of this shit, right? Because let's be so real. Let's be so real. Look at how many views these videos get. Look at how many views that Young Ripper video got. Let's go back and check.
And you know what shocks me about that is they're definitely pandering to a certain audience who are just like, this is why I can't stand the whole, oh, the X-Men is dead or the Marvel is dead because of this bullshit. I'm like, people are still watching. It's like it's just y'all that are complaining. Like, it's just this small subsect of people that are trying to push the narrative that like Marvel is dead or like superhero fatigue. Like again, it's like you said, and I agree. People, it's not dead. It's just people are tired of bad films. That again, people are still watching these movies.
I don't know, bro.
Oh, you said views. Yes, listen, views.
4 years ago, 40,000 views.
You were talking about the new one?
A new video, 20K. Dog, no one's trying to hear this. I'm sorry. It's like,
and even when a
a
good X-Men thing comes out, he's still trying to shit on it.
It's like, dog, I like can we please just go back to enjoying things? Like we can be critical of things, right? We can like I respect critics. I respect critics. They're able to look at things and actually see their flaws. And flaws are not always objective. Flaws are not, and the critiques are not always gonna be objective. But this all just feels so like you said, disingenuous.
Because it's like they're pandering to a specific audience of people that were already like festering and stewing in this hate because they have to find people to hate. Like, let's say we as a society all went back to the way things used to be. Like, it's a fine line between going back to that, let's say early 2000s mantra, and then going back to the 50s shit. Because remember when Orange Man was in office, people were running their mouth saying wild crazy shit. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, and I don't even care about like Trump. I don't care about like politics or anything like that. But like people were getting wildly out of pocket.
And even then, all like that's another reason why I hate talking about this shit because we could talk, we could say however long about how it is not a political podcast. Shit like this makes it a political podcast.
It really shouldn't be,
because a lot of this, because no matter how we could dance around it all day. These niggas can dance around it all day. This is all wildly political. It all comes back to political ideology for these niggas. That's what it all comes back to for these niggas. That's why I hate having to talk about these niggas, because this is not a debate. This is not a debate. These niggas are just spouting their bull. They're yapping. they're just yapping. And we're never gonna find middle ground. Middle ground is not something that we should be able to find over fucking XMEN 97. Like, what are we doing here?
And also, like, the fact that everyone and their mom, okay, they might not be as popular as Batman or Spider-Man. Everybody universally knows that the X-Men is an allegory for civil rights.
Yeah, like, that's common knowledge.
And civil rights doesn't cover, like, it doesn't just mean black and white. It covers, like, myriad
social issues.
Yes.
Social issues.
So the fact that you guys are somehow now, like, because that's what really showed their ass. And a lot of comic book fans were, like, predicting this. They're like, wait until we get X-Men introduced in the MCU or some shit. They're going to somehow say this is woke. Like, bro, did you not see X-Men 2? They're like, Bobby, can you stop? Have you tried to stop being a mutant? Like, that's clearly an allegory for gay shit.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, bro. Long story short, these niggas are wrong. X-Men 97, whether it's good or bad, I don't care.
I'm saying all you listen. If you disagree, comment in the comment section and let us know. But for real, seriously, I personally am like so over it. I just want to talk about it because it's the hot topic of the week. But honestly,
it's the hot topic of the week with niggas who don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, I mean, the news is dead. But anyway,
you think I was about to say, you think any of these niggas have actually sat down to pay their taxes?
No.
You think any of it's crazy. I'm really wondering, like, what stops you from what really stops you from enjoying the things that you supposedly enjoy? And
you know what's funny, especially coming from people like Eric July, you have your own comic book, Mr. Oh, we're so tired of the woke comic book industry, we're gonna make our own. You just made derivative versions of the DC Trinity and made them bad. So you couldn't even come up with an original concept. All your superheroes are pastiches of already established superheroes, but done badly. People keep asking you, what is Isom about? No one fucking knows what you can. And he's going to be like, well, that's going to be introduced later on in the series. And I'm like, that's bad storytelling. People cannot wait. Like, you need a hook in order to get people interested in your character. Yeah. And if you're telling them, well, we'll tell you the hook of the character later down the road, nobody's going to want to sit there and watch. Have you ever seen a character like that where you're like that's usually resulted towards antagonists, not the protagonist.
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys.
Tell us what you're fun.
Find us on our Patreon. Find us on YouTube at the High Ground Podcast. And just have a great day. Thank you guys for watching.